Hello, and welcome to my presentation about WikiWords. I am Adam Crump, and will be taking you on a guided tour through the process. I would like you to meet Olga Minsky, 26-year-old brand manager that loves exotic food and upscale travel. English is her second language. She wants to help others with pronunciation, especially with Russian dishes and exotic food. Also, while being a brand manager, she has realized that she needs to be fluent with all of the terms that describe each brand that she manages. Last, in conversations, Olga likes to be authority of grammar, having the tendency to correct others on the spot. The idea is to combine WikiWords with Olga to help her pronounce new vocabulary for her work and her exotic food-loving lifestyle. Part of the issue is that English is Olga's second language, and some nuances are lost when learning new terms from clients. Some of the things that motivates Olga to be an authority of grammar is her desire to achieve in the workplace and make sure she's studied on all of the terms she has been given. Now when she goes out with friends to her favorite Russian restaurant, she has a small tick when her friends don't pronounce the dishes correctly. Also, she finds that while learning new terms and helping her friends, that hearing someone else say it is important, and pictures showing what the word is can be useful to help them remember what they were saying. One of the important things for Olga is to be able to group together words that she needs to study for her clients. In a simple path, she can guide herself in WikiWords to create a deck of flashcards, using cards she has made, or search users for additional cards in case she is short on time or wants to hear another person say the word. To better understand the flow of a few tasks, I decided to test them out. This includes the first task: log in and go through the Create a Card tutorial process. I thought this tutorial is a great way for someone to not only learn the system, but they interactively create their first card at the same time. The second, change user profile photo. At a later point of development, sharing and allowing users to find other users' decks and cards is important. Plus, this also creates an identity for the creator. Olga doesn't only want to share her cards, but she would like everyone to know who created it. The third task, create a new flashcard, being one of the most important functions of the flashcard app. And the last task, create a new card deck, taking all the cards created or cards from other members and combine them into a set of cards that can be used for studying or practice. After testing the early prototypes, several testers felt it was intuitive and close enough to the other flashcard apps that it is easy to adapt to the new system even in the early stages. Now there were some areas that issues became consistent. On the first task, to go through the tutorial to create a card, the question came up about how do I skip? Was it because it was long or because they just feel more comfortable with that option? The other thing I noticed from watching is it took users a while to locate the next button to know they can move on, and one tester even asked, where should I go? On the second task, change the user profile picture, the users were unsure if it actually saved their photo. The third task, create a new card, I found it interesting because testers felt that they had no way to save. I initially thought a review card pass-through would work to lead them to the save function, but users didn't actually know where to go once they completed the card. The other issue I found is that some testers thought once they completed the front of the card, they were done, and never flip it to go to the definition and sentence creation section. The last task, create a card deck, most testers actually missed the search bar, and there was mention of preference to make their deck, and then create cards to put into the deck. I found it fascinating with some of the hiccups the initial test ran, especially the preference of creating the deck first and then adding the card, as I personally would create my cards first and then group them. So after compiling everything, I put together some new concepts. On the tutorial, adding a skip option to allow users to go straight into the normal card creation. The other thing is a larger next button with a little forward triangle to help signify to the user that this is where to go to move on. For the account profile, I exchanged delete account with the save option. Now users can feel safe that their changes have been saved. During the card creation, I opted to change the review card to save card so users know right where to go when done. But if they get excited and think they are done after filling just one side, and try to save, they'll be prompted with a little question of, are you sure? The last update is instead of a search bar, I believe a search button and search all users button will help the flow of the project. For instance, if Olga doesn't have time to create her own card for her deck, she can just press the search all users button and search for the word she wants and add it to her deck for work. The other part to creating a deck is giving the option to create a card after the deck creation process has started. but still leaving the original create a card section so users that like to create a deck first and then their cards can, and others that create their cards first and then build a deck have that option as well. There are some ways I would like to expand on WikiWords. As much as Olga would like to create her flashcards and record her pronunciation, she would also like to share her cards and deck with everyone. I would like to work on a flowchart for this very task. I found there were some challenges due to the low fidelity for testers to understand what was going on, so I think a higher quality render would be helpful. Just like the deck section, where users can choose to create a new deck or access an existing one, I think flashcards should be set up the same way. While stepping back and looking over the prototypes, I noticed that the menu or back buttons shift from top or bottom between different pages and also use menu or back. I think it would be best to normalize it all to one term and one section. The design process learned is rather important, and it was good to be able to go through all the steps, even the interview and testing. I found that combining the interview with surveys really helped narrow down what the users like and dislike with vocabulary apps and why they choose to use them. Though I did find that I will need to research and practice more on interviewing skills. Flowchart designs before wireframes is important. Flowchart design before wireframes is important. As much as I would like to jump in and start designing, the flowchart really helps me keep focused on the task that I am working on. The proto person is a great help during the design process. Sometimes I would ask, what would Olga prefer? And once you put yourself in their shoes, you can get an idea of how to approach the task. The one thing that is tough for me as I am a graphic designer is to not get caught up early on the graphical design of the app and just lay out the necessities. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and remember, keep designing.